So now, at this part, I would just like to share with you the books I plan on reading for the first quarter of the year, for January, February, and March. And I have decided to have themes for my 4 quarters reading journey in 2023. For the first quarter, my theme is gifts, which means that all of these books I have received as gifts from publishers and authors in 2022, where I unfortunately had the worst reading slump and creation slump, which just led these books, lying on my shelf, which is something I don't want to happen anymore. And I hope that even though it's a little late, I could still push through with promoting these books and helping, spread the word in the bookish community. So there. So I decided to go with 12 books for the quarter, which means 1 book per week. I'm just, relying on the knowledge that we have 4 weeks per month. So here I actually have 13, but it's just so I have a little, I have an extra option just in case. But yeah, these books are books I received again from publishers, from promoting companies, and from Goodreads as well. So I would just like to go through each of these books a bit so that I could share with you what they're about. And actually, the first book I have decided to be my first read for 2023. I just wrote down all the titles of these books in a random wheel, and this is the winner. This is the pick, and it's Notes on Your Sudden Disappearance by Alison S. Pack. If I'm not mistaken, this is a fiction book, a contemporary fiction. It has a lot of advanced praise here at the back, and it says that it's a must-read novel of 2022. It went on sale last May, and it was compared to The Lovely Bones and the fictions of Megan Abbott. It tells the story of Sally Holt and her sister, and the story spans across 15 years, before her sister's death, during her sister's death, and after her sister's death, and how those moments have changed or influenced how Sally has become who she is. I don't want to dive too much into what this book is about. I want to be surprised, but I would just like to pick up some of the comments here by other authors. Like, it's described as unputdownable, insightful, funny, and emotionally profound. It's a rare kind of book that made me both laugh and cry. So that alone is like a good reason enough for us to pick up these books. The next book, I have a couple of mysteries and thrillers. I have 2. So the first one is The Wife Before by Shanora Williams, and this one is compared to Rebecca. It's a kind of gothic tale about a fairy tale marriage which will be found out to be filled with secrets, possibly damaging secrets. So it's also described as a sexy, twist-filled psychodrama. So there. Next, I have another mystery. It's Instinct by Jason How You, and it's described as a small town thriller. So here in this town called Silvertown, Washington, with a 602 population, we will be following the journey of a police officer. They call the town Conspiracy Capital of America. So there's a lot of weird things happening, and this officer would be like pushed through investigating these weird things. And yeah, so it says here, to save Silvertown, Officer Mary Whitaker must distinguish the truth from the paranoia-fueled lies before she ends up losing her own instincts and her life. Next, I have a gift from Penguin Southeast Asia. This is a very out of my league book because it's a horror anthology called My Lovely Skull and Other Skeletons by Tunku Halim. And it is 15 different types of short stories, the darkest of tales. So 15 skeletons await. So this book is described to have nightmarish, spine-chilling tales ready to embrace and draw you into their blood-dripping dungeon. So I think this book is perfect for people who have reading slumps because they are short stories that would really draw you in, and plus it's horror. I haven't really read horror in like forever. So it's going to be an interesting journey. Next, I have another fiction book. This is called The Wedding Veil by Kirsty Woodson Harvey. This book spans across different timelines. So one is at the present time and the other is in 1914. So it's about generations of women who are about to get married and are deciding that this might not be the future they have been envisioning for themselves, and that they should take their life, their journey into their own hands. So it says here that it's reminiscent of Jennifer Robson's The Gown. So it's about remarkable women forging their own paths. So there. Next, I have another mystery. This one is You Can't Catch Me by Catherine Mackenzie. This is about a woman who has escaped a cult-like life. But then after that escape and in an attempt to finding her new life, she then encountered an identity theft for someone who has the same name and information as her. So according to a blurb here at the back of the book, You Can Catch Me is a riveting tale of stolen money, stolen identities, and stolen childhoods. It's really a breathtaking journey. So there. Next, I have, of course, my romances. So the first romance book I have here is The Sizzle Paradox by Lily Menon, or who we also know as Sandia Menon for her YA romances. This is an adult romance book and it's about graduate students. I think it's also students in STEM. So I think if you loved the Love Hypothesis, you would also adore this one. It's about Lyric Bishop, who is studying sexual chemistry and romantic partners, but she doesn't really have that experience herself. So she finds help in Kian Montgomery, her best friend, roommate, and fellow grad student. He would be teaching her about sexual chemistry, and of course, along the way, while they are teaching, while one is teaching the other, sparks fly between them, and they kind of blur the lines of just teaching into, you know, falling in love and all that. So really interested in this one. Next, we have Dating Dr. Dill. I think this is one of the famous romances in 2022, and yeah, I was kindly sent a copy of this one. I think it's about, yeah, here it's about Karina Mann, who is hoping to have a love story like her parents, but she wants, you know, the classic experience. She had a deal with her father that she would be looking for her soulmate within a few months so that she can inherit the family home. But unfortunately, she had a very public debate with a doctor. Okay, with Dr. Prem Verma, and he is the host of the Dr. Dill show. And yeah, so Dr. Prem Verma is using this show as a way for him to fund his medical project to help the local community getting the healthcare that they need. Unfortunately, because of that viral scandal, he is having funding problems, and so these two talked about the possibilities of an arranged match, so that, you know, they would both get what they want, but of course along the way they might find their happily ever after, making their hate turn into fate. So there. Next, we have another romance book, All Fired Up by Dylan Newton, and this one is about a book publicist, Imani Lewis. She has to go home to her hometown to help her grandmother recover from surgery, and there she had a one-night stand with Xander Matthews, who, like Imani, has limited time to spend on this small town. So both of them were thinking that it's going to be something short, something quick, no strings attached. But of course, the book questions how they would handle things once they are all fired up. So there. Next, I have a couple of YA romances, I think. The first one is Heartbreak Symphony. This is about two music inclined teenagers who are also both dealing with different types of grief. So they find a connection, they find comfort in each other, and so it would revolve into how they would be handling their grief and moving on with their lives, how they would be looking into their future, both very heavily musical influenced, and yeah, maybe finding love along the way. Next one is Flirting with Fate. It's also a young adult romance book, but this one has bits of magic in it. So basically, it says here, one mysterious boy, one stormy encounter, and one mystical blessing left unclaimed. If I'm not mistaken, the grandmother of our female lead is on her deathbed, if I'm not mistaken, but she wasn't able to go because of an accident due to a storm. And with a mistake, the magical blessings that were supposed to be passed down onto her went to the guy instead. So she has to find the guy and move back the magic to her, who was, you know, who was supposed to get it in the first place. But of course, as they flirt with fate, they might also find love in this journey. Okay, so I have the two final books here. This one is, I think, a contemporary fiction. Let's Not Do That Again by Grant Ginder or Ginder, and it's about this woman who is running to be a senator in the United States. She has really good chances of winning. Unfortunately, she has two grown kids who might be messing it up for her. I think, yeah, the description here is a mother running for Senate, a son running from his problems, and a daughter running straight to trouble. So it's about this family's journey into this. So it not only talks about family, but it also talks about politics. And lastly, I have a fantasy book. This one is the one I'm really scared to read because, you know, I'm not really a big fantasy reader, but hopefully I'll have a good time with it. It's a Tracy Chee book, 1,000 Steps into Night, and it's about this girl who, an ordinary girl who turns into a demon. Yeah, she is an innkeeper's daughter, and then Miyuko is cursed and begins to transform into a demon with a deadly touch. So in this book, her journey is to undo this curse so that she won't be a demon anymore and get back into being a normal, regular girl. So it's gonna be an adventure-filled read. So as you can see, we have a bit of variation on our physical TBR for the first quarter of 2023. I hope to pick up one book per week and finish them within that week. But aside from that, I'll still be having books that I would be reading on my Kindle and also listening to on audiobook. Those won't have TBRs anymore because I just, you know, pick based on the mood for those things, so that I could be both my mood reader self and, you know, an organized person with a TBR at the same time. So these are the books that I'll be reading, and of course there are lots of musically influenced books along the way, and especially boy bandy reads, so just watch out for that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I hope you had some fun listening to me rant about books, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye!